through what we have learned with rather a complex example, which paves the way in discussing the next steps as well. We will use the same example we used for parsing, which was finding the titles of movies that have at least one star born in 1960. We will use the choice of query A for the rest of our steps. The parse tree we generated for it in the previous example is this one. We first turn the parse tree to the array expression tree with simple application of 3 steps of the bottom-up rule. For this, we first need to find from list. We do have one from list containing stars in. But this query also has a subquery. And the subquery also has a from list, which is from movie star. Let's put that below somewhere as well, until we see what to do with it. Note that we cannot use the cross product here, as it is in the first step, as the relations are not from the same from list, and we have not listed all of the from list items in one level. This will affect the next steps. The next level of the tree is a selection with condition C, where C is the condition expression in the construct being replaced. For simplicity, let's do the second step for the subtree first, which is a selection with condition birth date like a pattern containing 1960. For the main tree, the condition here is that the star name is in the set of tuples on the projected attribute name from the movie star. Let's for now just write this down as an interim step, and we will come back to it in a bit. Then, at the next level of the tree, taking this as input, we have a projection on list L, where L is the list of attributes in the select list. Our select list attribute here is movie title for the main tree and name for the subtree. At this step, we have the complete subtree, which is a complete tree itself, and the complete example of applying the bottom-up rules. But for the main tree, we have bits and pieces we have to take care before we have the array expression tree. To put together those bits and pieces, the next step is the subquery removal step. The cleaned up tree up to this point of conversion could be shown as what we see here. Note that the subtree for the subquery and the stars in relation and the projection parts are exactly the same. However, we have written selection in another interim way that shows we are choosing the tuples from stars in and through the condition. Similar to the previous, this is not standard way of depicting array tree and just an interim. And we need to replace the highlighted parts to come up with the final array tree. We do have a 2-argument selection here, which we did not learn how to deal with in the 3 bottom-up conversion rules. The condition containing the subquery is the second element of the selection. To remove the subquery, we label with R the relation upon which the 2-argument selection is being performed, which is stars in here. Stars in is the first argument of the 2-argument selection. We write it down exactly the same in the final array tree. Then we label the second argument of this 2-argument selection, which is our condition with subquery with 2 parts T and S. We apply the subquery removal step here with how we relate T and S, and those with relation R. Note that T is representing a condition on narrowing down tuples in the subtree S, with a rule which is matching it with tuples of R. So basically, we can replace this, as we did in the first step of the 3-step bottom-up rule, with cross product of relations R and S. And we apply their narrowing down in the condition of the select. We just need to ensure we do not use duplicate elements. So we perform a cross product of R and S after duplicate elimination applied to the tree S. We then continue with the second and third steps, applying the selection and the projection. The condition of selecting the tuples T will be applied in the selection step. Let's review what we did in the example. We see the where condition subqueries in our parse tree in form of what we call 2-argument selections, meaning that we have a select in our tree that has a left child that is a relation and a right child that is an expression of a condition. An important step in generating the array tree is removing these condition subqueries. For this, we label the left child as the relation R upon which the selection is being performed, and the right child as an expression for the condition applied to each tuple of S. In this step, duplicate removal, shown in red, might be used to avoid multiple answers in the final query. Then we generate the product of left and right trees. We provide this product as the input to the next level, which is a selection, the 1-argument selection with condition C. C is equating the argument component of tuple T to corresponding attributes of the relation S and R. Basically, it narrows down in what relation we pick the tuples from the main query and the subquery relations. Note that this is how to remove subqueries from where conditions. Similar rules apply to other uses of subqueries.